Good morning, Rabbi Isaiah. Lili nishmas mimir osirus bes Mordechai. B'schus b'ni Akiva Simcha ben Fega. Rabbi Isaiah, I got to tell you, yesterday was a very, very special day. But before I go into that, I want to talk about our bar mitzvah boy. Our bar mitzvah boy, Akiva Solway, who did a fantastic job. Akiva, get over here for a second, please. Where's your father? Shimon, come here as well. Akiva, as you know, was in a choir. He's a soloist, great voice, beautiful, beautiful laning. But more importantly, Akiva has been an inspiration to all the adults in the shir. He's been here with us since Brachas Daf Beis. The bacher sits there with his finger on the place day in, day out, and the adults see it and they're inspired by him. So, first of all, I want to tell you, this is a book, a sefer that Moshe Hirsch and what's his first name? Stefansky. What's his name? They put together all of Akiva's Divrei Torah that Akiva writes every single week in Avraham Merkaz. They put it together, made it a sefer, and it's a MDY production, 8-minute daf, and they gave it to him as a gift, and they gave it out to everybody. Volume 1, more to come. But if you're wondering how do you have a kid like this? Well, genes help a lot, but I got to tell you, every morning when I walk here from my home down the block till here, I see Akiva's father, Reb Shimon, standing right over here, driving away from the Beis Medrash. In other words, he drives to the Beis Medrash, drops off his son, and then goes look for parking. He doesn't tell his kid, come with me. He wants his kid to be in the Beis Medrash on time, and then he looks for parking. He usually parks a block away in the parking lot over there, not to disturb the neighbors. And then at the bar mitzvah, the Rav said the same exact thing. The Rav said that Reb Shimon comes to davening early. He has a chavrusa. And when the davening is about to start, he walks back home. I don't know how far it is, maybe 10 minutes, to wake up Akiva and bring him back. And the Rav said he has daughters that could do it. He decided to do it himself. So, Mazel Tov, Reb Shimon. You should have a lot of nachas. This is the future Gadol Hador, by the way. Akiva, he's not in Shidduchim, but he's accepting offers right now. Shkoyach. Mazel Tov. His wife, who's my wife's best friend, drives more than him. Okay. Rabbi Isai, yesterday is tremendous hatzlacha. It's the inauguration and the start of something brand new. Let's see where the picture is. I got to show you this in a picture. Oh, here it is. We're trying to get yeshivas involved. So the first yeshiva I ever spoke at was Reshit. I sat with a group. How many guys were there? 70, he says. Out of the 70 boys, I'm no Rabbi Ari ben Shushan, who got 24. But out of the 70 boys, we got 50 guys to sign up. 50 guys. And Yitzi Schleifer, who's an alumni, he's sponsoring all the Gemaras. I also promised them, besides the Gemaras, we're going to take them to a nice restaurant. I'm not going to say the name, a nice restaurant. So we're looking for a sponsor for that. Maybe Yitzi will jump in on that. Here's a picture of me and the guys afterwards. They're all signing up, grabbing Gemaras. I was also at Leyva Torah. Unfortunately, I don't have any pictures. I hope somebody took pictures there. You have pictures? Yeah, you should have. Please send me. I would have printed tomorrow, Be'ezer Hashem. Leyva Torah, I was a little worried because it was number 2 in line, so I went there. Also, they had about 100 guys in the room. They didn't disappoint. Over 50 guys signed up from Leyva Torah as well. It's crazy. And this is just the first 2 yeshivas. Esha Torah asked me to come speak to them, so maybe we'll speak over there. We'll see what happens. It's a new beginning, a new page. Yesterday, Rabbi Isai, Baruch Hashem, we have a very short daf today. It doesn't mean that we're going to get out early today. I guarantee we're going to go over time. But it does give a little bit of an opportunity to do what I typically do on the first daf of the Masechta, and that is show the the siyumim, the global siyum around the world. So over here we have Toronto. This is what you're talking about? Yeah. Oh, okay. So I do have the picture of Toronto. Over 80 people showed up to the siyum in Toronto. There's a giant screen, a nice hall. We have what? Tonight. It happened already. That's it. It happened. And today, David Feinberg, the statistician, says today is the second year. Whatever. We could just celebrate every day. We started Matzah Shabbos, Sunday, Monday. This, Rabbi, is a very big simcha. I really wanted to be here. Unfortunately, the trip was canceled. This is the Manchester Siyum. But very important, if you look right over here, this is Shmuel'is Weisfish. He's been a big part, just like Akiva. He's been here from the beginning of brachas. He sent in emails. We heard his voice. He sent in videos. So and it was Bay Bayayim. It was his bar mitzvah last night at the Siyum. So tremendous Mazel Tov to the Shmueli. This is his father over here. Chashva Yid, our in-house shaychet, sends us the pictures, etc. In the 5 towns, we had a nice Siyum. This is Benjamin Schwartz, the coordinator. This is Kalman of the 5 towns who's doing his own little thing. Also, he's going to have a nice Siyum, 5 town Siyum. And here is the one who's pushing that whole Gemara campaign and brought MDY to where it is today. Nissan Al-Gan's addressing the guys in the Chinese restaurant. This is like the side room, I guess. Here he is. Here's the Olam. So, Yeshur Koyach. I do want to thank, by the way, behind the scenes, just the achdus that's going on. Guys from Muncie, Uncle Phil, Mark, pushing the siyumim, driving to the siyum in the 5 towns. It's things that we don't understand, but the chesed is unbelievable. We very much appreciate it. Talking about siyumim, our siyum is tonight, right next door in Prushim. I'm not sure how many people signed up. I know I signed up. I paid for my family, so you don't have to worry about it. You can stop sending me emails. I paid, yeah. I signed up, yeah. I did it through the thing. Do you see it, Avi? Let me know if you get it. All 4 of us. He says he got it. Gary says all 4 of us. Even the little guy. Even though my 2 sons don't eat anything, just chal, I paid that 100 shekel. What? The ankle's not coming. Oh, maybe. Maybe. Well, we'll pay afterwards. Manda is a different story. I got actually a request from a Rosh Hashiva that I should bring Mando to the Siyum. Not joking. We'll have to talk about it. Okay. No, this is not it. This is from David Lowenstein. Hello, I wanted to express my appreciation for the donors who sent a copy of Maseches Megillah by mail to me. Gemara has never been a strength of mine. I decided to learn again in a small way following the daily Daf Yomi the last few months. Okay, I didn't know I have to read that. I came across a few clips of Ravelli's share. After seeing it all for the Dave from Michigan. Okay, Dave from Michigan. By the way, the first ever Siyum in Melbourne tonight. Huge. Go to mdycm.com, find out the where, how, when. Brooklyn Siyum, raffling off a full Art Scroll Shas for those. Because you didn't sponsor it, Mendy. All right. So look up the Brooklyn. They sent me a video of the meat. It's a table 8 feet long and 3 feet wide, just full of meat that's going to be served there. Ribs and, don't ask, New York style. I want to read something else here, but I don't know where it is. Oh, here's from Mike Ben Mela. You guys remember him? His house. He was the guy from Miami. He was part of this year, and his house burned down. Very long email. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's been a while since I communicated with you. And I just want to let you know that since my house burned down in Miami, it was 4 months ago. With Hashem's infinite kindness, we started to rebuild our lives, and everything's going great. I want to thank you once again for being my rock during these difficult times and having the merit to partake in your incredible Daf Yomi Chabura since brachas. It's a blessing for me and my family. Bekitzer, Uman, Breslev. That's what saved his house, I think he's saying over here, because it's a sgula, a lot of stuff. Spiritual material or save the books. May Hashem bless you. Continue to inspire the masses in the shamas to learn and grow in Torah, achdus and love of Hashem. May continue to keep adding students daily to Asher Kamei Mashiach. Much love to you and the team, Michael Ben Mela. And finally, those are the svarim up there. Okay, those are the ones. Okay, that's what he said. Okay, hey, I'll be in Cancun this coming week. If any MDYs would like to join my siyum, I'll be sponsoring a kiddush lunch at Chabad of Cancun. Shachris 9:45. That's Mincha in Israel, followed by the siyum. And then over here it says, a different one I get from Shalom Rand. Need 11 Gemaras. I just gave out in Cancun. I got 11 guys in Cancun, he says over here. It's not Shalom Rand, but Shalom Rand's friend, Leon, I forgot how to pronounce his name, F-R-E-U-E-F 191. No, that's Rand. All right. Today's shir is sponsored in honor of Shmuel'is Weisfish's bar mitzvah. Parnas HaChodesh for the Koilo is Chayim from Lakewood. Oh, Rabbi Isai, with us today, if you don't mind, anybody from Reshit, please come here to the front. We got here. You come. Avbayit, come. You guys, here, you guys in the back. Come, let's go. With your coffee. It's Beseder. Don't worry about it. You get off your strike.
I'm right here.
No, get over here. Reshit guys. And I have to thank Tomer Levy for coming with me, giving out the Gemaras. Shkoyach Tomer. Who else is from Reshit? Guy in the red t-shirt. Let's go. Come on. He's not ready. Oh, that's Levatora. You guys Levatora? Levatora guys, come. Let's go. Achtos. This beef doesn't matter. No, let's go. No, come on, Levatora. Let's go. What's going on here? You got to represent. What?
Not Levatora, no.
The Torah. No, not Torah.
Now they're not going to come up.
Oh, that's right. That's Tomer Levy's son. Yeah, the Tomer Levy's son. Okay. Fine. So, Yishkar for being there. How many guys signed up for real?
43.
43. I said 50. You'd make me look bad. They dropped that. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Ezra. We're going to finish Shas together or just Megillah? What is it? Shas. All right. Sit down, man. Let's go. Yishkoya. Le'ilu Nishmas. Yeshua Avraham Weisfish, הכהן, Ben Yonatan and Chaim. By the way, Dr. Listhouse sponsored $25,000 towards these Gemaras, but guess what? It costs us over $70,000. So if anybody wants to bridge the gap and be a part of this tremendous mitzvah, Gemara costs us about $35 a Gemara. I don't know what it is online. We say 25, 30, whatever it is. Every Gemara donated, every person that donates a Gemara, not every Gemara, every person that donates a Gemara, somebody's donating one against it. So it's double that one Gemara. Please join us. Sponsor MDY.com, I think it is, yeah? Let's see. MDYsponsor.com. MDYsponsor.com. Okay, now, finally, you could donate for Yeshua Avraham Weisfish, who finished his only Masechta Rosh Hashanah with us. Ben Yonatan and Chaim, Zichron Livracha. Last day, Maseches Taanis is dedicated by the Kessler and Davis families. Refuah, shleima for Miriam Esther Bas devora. Also last day, Parnas HaChodesh, the Hanas Brothers, in honor of the Hanasabzadeh. I'm going to miss that name. Krispin, Benazera Families, and Shlomo Lalezarian for inspiring us to join MDY. Parnas HaChodesh, not the last day, in honor of RL 97, Akiva Tepper for introducing me to Rebelli's Daf. You guys have to get used to it. There's a lot of numbers here. A lot of Atzola guys. And Parnas HaChodesh, Daniel and Tzirel Cohen, Zchus for Refuah shleima for Gabriel Benjamin Ben Tzirel Fruma. I just saw a picture of this kid. It's unbelievable. It's a small little kid. How old is the kid? Year and a half. And his Eltazeda, Bezer Shem, is going to be Messiah the Masechta for us. He's going to say the Hadron. It's his first siyum ever, a very emotional thing. L'schus, Gabriel Benjamin Ben Tzirel Fruma. Aaron Goldscheider, Aaron Goldscheider, it says here, in honor of my son Tzvi, for finishing his first Daf Yomi Masechta Gemara Taanis. Mazel Tov and many more in good health and happiness. By Barry Bass. He is the mayor of Lincolnwood. That's where I used to live. In honor of my son Jordon and Maya Bass, naming new baby boy Yechiel Gabriel Bass. Now, Reb Yechiel was a fixture in our shul. He was a Holocaust survivor. I was very, very close to him for many years. And he says he's a chacham, a chazan. Reb Henry Yechiel Lifshitz, bar mitzvah. He says over here that he had to learn 200 blat to be accepted to Rameir Shapiro's yeshiva in Lublin. And then he survived. He married his wife. Okay. A ganze drasha here that we all know. Special man from a special generation. I'm just reading this because I knew him very well. I was looking for the picture. I have a picture of him and his tattoo on his arm and my children around. He's an unbelievable person. Okay. By Michael Ben Mela in honor of the yard side of Nosson of Breslov, Naftali Hertz, Sternhardt. May the Neshama have an aliyah. Please read my email. I did. Shuli Wassertail, in honor of my wife's neshama, Tzipora Bas Moshe Menachem Alevi Edna. No, that's not how you read it. Tzipora Eka Edna Bas Moshe Menachem Alevi. It came out backwards here. Tes Tammuz, Tavshin Pei Aleph. Anonymously, by common of the 5,000 we saw is Reb Menachem Mendel ben Simcha to Big John Yechiel on his upcoming seal for Taanis Tuesday night and bring 7 new people to learn the Daf. In common number 2 for privately co-sponsoring last name for Shana and happy birthday my son Uri Zev by Meir Rosenberg in honor of F146 and retire. We're going to get to the learning soon. F202 finishing in hopes that F238 joins by David Dimbert. I love this one. In honor of all the people who have brought someone else to the shir, Yishkoyach, all the sponsors, and now finally for the last final daf in the Masechta. It's a tremendous day for us. It's a beautiful daf. We're holding, I don't know, count it, 12 lines from the bottom, we'll call it, guessing. Omar Reb Shimon Lamed Amud Beis. Omar Reb Shimon Gamliel, Lo Yehoy Yom Tovim L'Yisrael, Kachamisha Asar B'Av, Uki Yom HaKippurim. The 2 most special days of the year, Yom Kippur and Tu B'Av. And on those days, the Mishnah goes on to say, by the way, huge Mishnah, which actually equals up to 8 Mishnayos if you open up the Mishnayos, but in our Gemara it's only 1. And it's all the way at the end of the Mishnah, describing these these days. Now, what's so special about these days is that the girls that needed shidduchim, they would go out and they would dance. They all wore the same clothing. They would borrow clothing from each other. It was a situation of shidduchim. If I even said it as a joke, recommended such a thing, they would shut down the shir. But that's how it was in the time of the Gemara. What's so special about Yom Kippur? It's a very special day. We're here in this world to accomplish, to grow closer to Hashem, to do mitzvahs, and if unfortunately we do averis, we need to atone for those sins and the averis. And we have a special day called Yom Kippur, obviously with tshuva, but with that day, we achieve atonement. We achieve pure mechila, slicha. Yom shenitu by luchos ha'achroidos. Rashi goes through the whole cheshbon if anybody wants to see. Moshe Rabbeinu was up for 80 days, came down on Yom Kippur. In fact, Rashi says the reason why Yom Kippur was established as the day of kapara is because that's when Moshe Rabbeinu came down from Shemayim. And it was a sign to Klal Yisrael, Hashem forgave him for the Egel. That was the sign. He's down, he's back, he's here, he achieved, he asked for tshuva for 40 days straight. He asked for forgiveness. Hashem listened to him, and that's why that day is Yom Kippur. Turns out on Tes Tishrei. Yom Shenitu by Luchos Achraynos. Now, you think that on a day like Yom Kippur, we're fasting and we go to shul, these girls that are in shidduchim have no business dancing in the street looking for shidduchim. This is the Ben Yoyada asking. It doesn't make any sense. It's not Purim, it's Yom Kippur. Says the Ben Yoyada, you see from here how important it is to get married, the chashivas of the mitzvah of getting married, and even on the holiest day, that's what they did. Hello, Tu B'Av Mahi. What's going on with Tu B'Av? So the Gemara gives us 6 reasons. Now it doesn't mean that they contradict each other, just different traditions to the reason. Huh? Yes. Mendy, I hope I have Rishus to say over. Oh, okay. You don't even know what I'm saying, but I got Rishus. You heard him. Rishus. The first answer is that it's such a special day because that's the day that the Shvatim were allowed to marry each other. That's the day that Binyamin, Sheva Binyamin, Klal Yisrael swore that they never marry into Binyamin. We're going to get into it. That's the day that they became mutter. That's the day that the generation of the Midbar stopped dying in the Midbar. That is the day that Klal Yisrael was allowed to continue being Oila L'Regel, going up to the Beis HaMikdash. That is the day that those who died and murdered in Beitar were buried finally. I forgot how long it was, over a year that their bodies were laying there. We'll see that. And finally, Tovar Magol, that is the day, a big Yontif, and we'll go into that as well, that Klal Yisrael every year stopped cutting the wood for the Mizbeach, and it's a big simcha, and we'll talk about it. For me and Mendy, it's a huge, those 2 words, we spoke about these words, many, many times. It's a thing, and I'll go into that also. Tover Magal. Mendi and I. Says the Gemara, Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Yoim shehutru shvatim lavoi zeh b'zeh. Now, the day that the shvatim, we'll see over here, it says in the pasuk, the Torah tells us, V'chol bas yireshes nachla mimatais b'nei Yisrael, even the women who inherit part of Eretz Yisrael, we didn't want that their land should go to another shevet. We want to keep it within that shevet. So it says, "V'lo yisisav nachla mimata l'mata acher." You don't want to move. You want to keep the real estate within the family. If a woman doesn't have brothers and she inherits her father's real estate, and then she marries a man in another shevet, what's going to happen? The real estate is going to move. He's going to inherit her. Her children will inherit her, and it's going to go to another shevet. And the Gemara says in a second that only applied to that generation, but later on, Klal Yisrael was able to marry each other. So what happens is, the Karen Oyer says, that this is the idea, and we understand if you look around the room here, you see all sorts of yarmulkes, different types of people, Ashkenazim, Sfardim, young, old, Hasidim, Litvaks, Lubavitchers, we have Breslov, the whole thing. This is a day that when all of Klal Yisrael can marry each other, you have pure achdus. It's not, we're going to be snob to the other shvatim, it's only us. Everybody marries each other. That achdus causes the shechina to be shaira. When there's achdus throughout all of Klal Yisrael, that's the simcha. Not, I can marry somebody else. There's plenty of people to marry in this shevet. But when we have that achdus, we all get together and we enjoy each other's simchas, that's when the shechina is going to rest on Klal Yisrael. What's that? What do you mean? No, the shvatim don't disappear. It goes by the father. The shevet always stays. The real estate is going to disappear. Fine, that's what happened today. Everybody's everywhere. You can buy any property anywhere. My Darish, why did all of a sudden it change? It says, a few psukim before these psukim, it says that this is a commandment that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to the daughters of Tzlavchad. He didn't have any sons. He had 4 daughters, five daughters, and that's it. This halacha was given to that generation only. This is a special day also, Tu B'Av, because this is a day that all of Klal Yisrael were able to marry Shevet Binyamin. Shenemar, Vish Yisrael Nishba B'Hamitzpah Lemor Ish Mimenu Lo Yitein Bitoy Levinyamin Leisha. What happened? The famous story Pelegish Begiva. Whoever doesn't know the story will repeat it. What happened was, there was a man who married a Pelegish. Concubine. Thank you. I knew it was something like that, but whatever. It didn't sound good. Concubine. Yeah. She, for whatever reason, she had some sort of dispute with her husband, and she ran away to her father's house. So he went after her. He tried to get her back, and his father-in-law, said, stick around there for a few days. So he stuck around. He wanted to leave. He kept on schlepping him out. Stay another day. Finally, he got upset. He said, I'm leaving. And he left at night. And he tried to find a place to sleep. And he was in Binyamin. And nobody would take him in. He was sitting outside over there and nobody would look at him. And he had food. He had his donkeys. He had wine. Everything he needed. He didn't have a place to sleep. Finally, elderly man took him in. And as he's getting ready to go to sleep, some bad guys in the neighborhood said, bring this guy out. Like it's dime. They wanted to have relations with him. And Mamash like light. The guy said, take my daughter. And he said, take my Pelegish instead. Finally, he gave his Pelegish to these men, and whatever they did to her, she came back dead. She ended up dying after the night. He opens up the door, here she is, lifeless body. This guy, married to the Pelegish, takes his Pelegish woman, chops her up into 12 pieces, and sends a piece to each part of Klal Yisrael. To each shevet says, look what they did to my wife, to my Pelegish. I guess, if you just send a messenger and say, hey, they killed my wife, when you have a chart, you have something, you see it with your eyes. You see a bat. What is this? It's an arm. Why is there an arm here? Because somebody killed my wife. And that really upset Klal Yisrael. And they said, they demanded to give, Klal Yisrael should give up these people, these bad guys. And they wouldn't. They protected them. So they said, if you don't give them up, we're going to go to war. And they went to war and they wiped out Binyamin. There's hardly anybody left, maybe 600 people, whatever it was, nobody left. And then they swore, and here's the pasuk. Nobody can marry, nobody can give their daughter to Binyamin. And then it was bad news for Binyamin. They're going to be wiped out. So they had to change it. But they swore, my daughters, Omarav, Mimenu, V'loi, V'banenu, we swore about us, but our sons, the next generation, could marry in. They allowed that, and Memela, it was a yontif. Again, Achdos, bringing back Binyamin into Klal Yisrael, and that's a yontif that we celebrate, Tubav, and that's why, I guess it's like, because it's a day that they married in, so it's a day that we also do shidduchim, etc. My darush, okay, we said. Rabbi Baruch Omer Rabbi Yochanan Yoim Shekalu Boy Meisei Midbar. This is the day that the people in the Midbar stopped dying. So it's one of my favorite pshatim, favorite divrei Torah, but here it is mefurish in the Gemara. So we got to repeat it, and we have a short Amud. So what happened was, we had 600,000 men from the age of 20 to 60. And because of the Ched HaMeraglim, Kadosh Baruch Hu, every single year, there was a cruise that went out and said, dig your grave. And all 600,000 people would dig graves, 600,000 graves, go in, and 15,000 of the 600,000 wouldn't come out. And every year, another 15,000 people would die. Until finally, the final year, there was only 15,000 left. They dug 15,000 graves. They knew they're going to die. They went into the grave, and they didn't die. Even though Hashem swore that they're all going to die and they're not going to go into Eretz Yisrael. And then the big question is, why didn't they die? And the answer is, because they davened really well. But the question is, everybody davened. And what about the year before, when there was only 30,000 left, and 30,000 people dug the grave, and they knew that 15 are going to die? The answer is that when you know that you have zero chance, then your tefillah is so much greater than when you have a 50% chance. Even though you know you have 50%, people say, it's not me. I'm going to be lucky today. I'm not going to die. So the tefillah is not that powerful. When you know for certain, you see it happening for 40 years straight, every single year, 15,000, the tefillah is unbelievable. We can take that as a lesson. I don't know how. How do you come to that matzav? But if you can, say, this is it. You understand it says Hashem and only Hashem, and there's nothing else. You could survive even a shvuah of Hashem, that nobody's going to survive. Hashem refused to speak to Moshe Rabbeinu. Shenemar. When everybody died off, then Hashem started to talk to Moshe Rabbeinu again. Why? So the Tosfos and Baba Basra says, and believe it or not, it's a little raya that Tosfos is a Breslov, because Tosfos says that the reason why Hashem didn't speak to Moshe Rabbeinu is because Moshe Rabbeinu, there was atzvos. They were sad. And when Klal Yisrael is sad, there's no Shechina.
So Rashi's also breast.
Yeah, why?
Because Rashi says the whole song.
Yeah, I guess we're all breasted. You see, we're all breasted. No, I was just referring to Rabbi Adler, who mentioned me. And by the way, slicha, I didn't leave. I was not feeling well, and I left before your speech. I didn't even come back from Meyer, so it wasn't personal. But I heard that he mentioned me and that I said something about simcha, and so I was addressing that. It seems like simcha existed a little bit before Rabbi Nachman, but okay, whatever, fine. So I want to tell you a beautiful, beautiful thing here. I wanted to say it the other day, but Baruch Hashem, I left it for today because now we have some guests. I want them to hear this unbelievable Chavetz Chaim. Chavetz Chaim asks, what happened there with the Meraglim? This is all because of the Ched of Meraglim. But what happened? You have to understand. You're talking about Klal Yisrael who saw the greatest nisim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu ever performed. Kriyas Yamsov. Dam, Tzvardea, Kinam, Makas B'chayras. Everything. So all of a sudden, the Meraglim come back and say, hey, there's giants in Eretz Yisrael. Hashem says, you're going to move, go to Eretz Yisrael, everything's going to be fine. So because a couple of tall people over there, strong people, you're all out of whack. They saw all the nisim. So what's a giant person? It's nothing. Hashem could take care of them in a second. He split the water. They saw Matan Torah. They saw everything. So why are they so worried? So the Chafetz Chaim says an amazing thing. He says that, and this, says the Chafetz Chaim, is the Chet HaMeraglim of year 2021. We are in the Chet HaMeraglim also, he says. Why? The Meraglim's Aveira was that they doubted themselves. They said, we sinned, and because we sinned, we're not worthy. We were worthy yesterday when we were Mitzrayim, but not anymore. We're sinners. We did this, we did the Egel, we're not worthy anymore. If we're not worthy, we don't deserve to go into Eretz Yisrael. Says the Chafetz Chaim, that's our sin. What do people say? Say, oh, Torah is not for me. Torah, Olam Haba is for the Chafetz Chaim, for Chaim Kanievsky, for the Rosh Yeshiva, for that guy, not for me. People have to understand, says the Chafetz Chaim, that it's for everybody. All you need to do is chop it. You grab it, and you'll be a Ben Olam Haba. And I want to read to you this little piece that has to do with us Balabatim. It's a mistake to begin with. The Torah didn't obligate a balabas. Torah didn't say that you have to learn all day and night. You shouldn't go out and work. The Torah is telling you, work, but set aside time for Torah. Make sure you're honest when you work. And then, first make sure your business dealings are with honesty, and then set aside time for Daf Yomi. And he goes on to say, but that's the end of the piece. All right, that's in Shmuel'is Halashon Chelik Sheni Perik Yutes. If you want to look up the whole piece, says the Gemara. Ula Amar. Another reason. What's Tubav? Yom Shibit Lo Yishea Ben Ela. Praise the eyes. Hoshea Ben Ela was a Russia, but he allowed Klal Yisrael to go up to the Beis Hamikdash and worship Hashem, bring Karbanis. Shaishav Yerav Ben Avad Al Drachim Shaliyal Yisrael Regel. The big Rosh Yerav Ben Avad was a greater Russian than him. Put out the marshals, the cops on the way. You couldn't go up to Yerushalayim. V'Amar Le'ezish Yirtzu Yalu. By the way, Golus Aseres HaShvatim. You know why Golus Aseres HaShvatim happened? Because, yes, Hoshea ben Ela allowed Klal Yisrael to go up to the Beis Hamikdash, and it was great, but they didn't go. And because they didn't go, so from a good thing came out a bad thing, actually. Hoshea ben Ela allowed Klal Yisrael to go to Beis Hamikdash, but why didn't you take the opportunity? When you have an opportunity, jump on it. Do it. It's another zach that you see. You got to jump on opportunities. There's no turning to the daf. Rav Masna Omar. Okay, l'schus. Sponsored by Aaron Strook in honor of my parents Josh and Naomi Strook. It's a half a sponsorship. Sponsored anonymously as a schus for shidduchim for my siblings and myself. You know what? We already said it. So l'zeich nishmas Aaron ben Shimon HaKohen. The first time we did a turning of the daf, not the turning of the daf. Says the Gemara. Rav Masna Omar. Listen to this one. We're getting to the end. Another reason why we are celebrating Tubav. Yom Shenitnu Harugi Beit HaLikvura. So we know about the Bar Kochva rebellion, and it's right here next to Bet Shemesh. If you go to the Bar Kochva caves, right? How far away is it by car?
7 minutes.
7 minutes away from Bet Shemesh. You can go into this cave. Don't recommend it. Highly claustrophobic. You have to crawl on all four and go. But that's how the Jews lived. And right after that revolt, there was the Haruge Beitar. They captured Beitar, killed everybody. If you look at Taisvus over here, top Taisvus, it says something incredible, very sad. It says, Lefisha Hayu Kumay Goder Bekerem Velenisrachu. They took the bodies and built fences with them. And they didn't smell these bodies. They didn't have. So, the bracha that we say in Birkas Hamazon, the fourth part of Birkas Hamazon was only invented by when they were able to bury the Harugi Malchus. HaToiv, Hashem does us good. V'hameitev, on top of the Toiv, He gives us even more goodness. That what? HaToiv shelo yisrichu. The entire year that these bodies are laying around and their defense of the enemy, they didn't smell. V'hameitev shenitnu l'kfura, and they allowed us to finally bury all these many bodies. Rabbi Rav Yosef Damer Tavayu, Yom shepasku melichros eitzim l'maracha. This is the day that Klal Yisrael finished cutting the wood for the Mizbeach. No. Rabbi said, why is that such a big yontif? Why do you make a yontif? They finished cutting, okay, they stopped chopping wood. Chop, chop, chop. Today's stop chopping. So one pshat is, the Rashbam says, that it's the end of a mitzvah. And how appropriate is it for today? When you finish a mitzvah, the Taisus Yontif says, it's like when you finish a part of the Torah that you make a big siyum. That's what he says on this pshat, on this Gemara. It's a siyum. When you complete a mitzvah, a great mitzvah of bringing wood to the Beis HaMikdash, you make a siyum. Ramosha Feinstein says, so if they made a big siyum, why wasn't there a big meal like we're having tonight in Prushim, like they did in Taranto and in Farakwe and all these other places? No. Anybody have a good answer? Why didn't they make a su'udah? It was a big mitzvah, but they didn't make a su'udah. Why? Listen to this chap. Because not everybody did the entire mitzvah. Everybody did a part of the mitzvah. Everybody brought one piece of wood. You needed all that wood. When we make a siyum, we finish the entire Masechta. It's Ramosha Feinstein, not me. The Vilna Gaon proves from here, and you're there, Reish Mem Vav, that when you do finish a Masechta, when we finish a Masechta, you make a siyum. From this Gemara right over here. So says Ramosha, based on the Vilna Gaon, anytime a person finishes a sefer of Tanakh, you make a siyum. That's what he says. But Rabbeinu Gershom says that the reason is because they were busy chopping wood. And when you chop wood, you can't learn Torah. And when you finish chopping wood, all of a sudden you have all these extra hours in the day to learn Torah. That's the simcha. It's tremendous simcha. I could start learning.
Think about it. It wasn't even all college. It was a small portion of people chopping wood. Just because they stopped and had more time to learn, all of college.
So says Noam, it wasn't all of Klal Yisrael. It was a small portion of Klal Yisrael, and because they were able to celebrate, it became a yom for everybody. The girls go out and get married. Says the Gemara. Tanya Rebbe Eliezer Agadol Omer. Mechamisha also ba'av eilach tashish koicha shel chama. From the 15th day of Av and on, the sun gets weaker. It starts becoming winter. We know if the wood is not dry, the worms are puzzle for the Mizbeach. So they stop cutting the wood then. Omer Rav Menashe, says Rav Menashe, it's the day that they broke their axes. They don't need axes anymore. They put the axes away. They're able to go to the Beis and learn Torah. 4.5 years ago, over 4.5 years ago, I'll tell you the exact date. May 23rd, 2017. I was sitting next to Remendi Auerbach, who's sitting right here next to me. There's been a part of Shir from day one. Right over here. Remendi, give me your hand so they see in the video. This guy right over here. Your head is in it. Go back a second. He's Remendi, the guy with the beard. Yeah. We're sitting and learning Baba Basra Daf Kuf Chof Aleph. How to remember the day? Because I made a sign for I used to do simanim in the Gemara, Chazer Baba Basra a bunch of times, and my siman for that daf, it's a bad siman, it was just for me. It's Kardumais, it's these axes, Cholam Auerbach. I don't even know if he knows it. That was my thing. Kardumais Cholam Auerbach. Why? Mendy turned to me, and he's like, Eli, I want to do what you do. He's busy selling diamonds every day. I'm telling you a true story. He gave me rishos. He doesn't even know what I'm about to say, but he gave me rishos. I'm saying it. I know that he's a very private person. I'm going to be Mevayishim Barabim, but it's going to be L'Teyelis. He's sitting right over here. You can ask him. He told me, he says, Eli, I want to do what you do. You sit in real estate, you have passive income. I want to sit and learn more hours a day. He was learning the whole first Seder with us. He wanted to learn second Seder also. He was learning with my chavrusa then, Rabbi Didi Kramer, and then I started learning with him, and we used to sit together. It was a nace. That itself is a nace. I walked into the Beis Medrash Pnei Shmuel. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what shul to go to. I picked Pnei Shmuel. I don't know why. I sat down within a kollel that happens to be the kollel that we run today for MDY. Sat in the kollel right next to these guys learning the daf. I didn't know. I want to learn daf Yomi. I started Kiddushin. He tells me he wants to do it. He wants to be Tavar Magal. He wants to spend more time learning Torah. So that became the thing. Tavar Magal. Mendy, when are you going to do Tavar Magal? Tavar Magal. One day he comes to me and says, that's it. I'm Tavar Magal. I sold every diamond I own. And he had a lot. And he had these diamonds that he couldn't sell for 5, 6, 10 years. Did you ever sell that diamond? No way. The yellow one, the big giant yellow one. Shainu Vaiter, we got to learn. He sold it all. And he bought real estate. I don't know if he's doing well or not. But I know that he's sitting in Beis Medrash all day. He's part of yeshiva now. His dream came true because he put his mind to it. And he said he wants to spend more time learning Torah, less time in the business. He still does business, he's that, but more time learning Torah. Tavar Magal, or boy say you could also do it. Fine. Next. Zog the Gemara. I wasn't even going to say Mendy get over here. There's no way we get over here. No way in the world. You have to know Mendy. Only guy. Everybody else here, yes, not Mendy. Listen to this. From this day on, the Moisef Yosef, if you add Torah, you're going to add life to your life, real life. With the Loy Moisef, and if you don't add Torah, you get those extra hours. So you retire. And what do you do when you retire? You sit and watch the stock market. Yosef chas v'shalom. What does it mean, Yosef? My Yosef, Amar Rav Yosef, tikbere imei. His own mother will bury him. Chas v'shalom. In other words, he won't live his full life. You got to take advantage of what HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you. Next. Shebehem, I promise you that we're not going to finish early today. Don't worry about it. Shebehem b'nois Yerushalayim Tanah Rabbanu Bas Mel Sheyelas Mi Bas Kohen Gadol. In order not to embarrass those who don't have clothing, each girl borrowed from another girl. Even the daughter of the king. The daughter of the king. With the whole wagon and the throne, the whole thing. She goes and she borrows. Okay, not from the peasant, but from the one below her. Sheyelas Mi Bas Kohen Gadol, from the daughter of the Kohen Gadol. Bas Kohen Gadol Mi Bas Gan, and it goes down in line. Hu Bas Gan, Mi Bas Meshuach Muchama. You know, there was a Meshuach Muchama who used to announce, part of the announcements, whoever's fearful of going to war, whoever built a house, whoever got married, whoever planted a vineyard, don't go to war. So part of that was the Meshuach Muchama. Hu Bas Meshuach Muchama, Bas Kohen Edir. V'chol Yisrael Shoylim Zem. Every Jewish girl borrows from each other. Today, look at this idea. Shaloi Yizbayish, it's me, She'ein Loi. There's a concept, and we can use it for our life as well. Don't embarrass those who don't have. By the way, I just hit me now. I don't like this rule, but in my son's school, in America, they won't understand what we're talking about. But in my son's school, you're not allowed to bring snack to school because there are many kids in the class that can't afford snack. So that they shouldn't be embarrassed. In your schools also, Akiva, you all could afford it. Okay, great. But in my son's school, my son is very upset because that's all he eats basically. So all these dresses in the time of the Gemara, in the time of the Beis Hamikdash, they used to take their clothing and put it in the mikvah. Like we put a clean in the mikvah. If there's tumah, keri, nida, whatever it is, you have to be toivel these kalim. So all the dresses had to go into the mikvah. Even if you buy a brand new dress, you put it in the mikvah. Why? Not to embarrass those who actually really do need tefillah. So instead of a girl asking the other girl, do I have to be toivel this dress? Across the board, every dress goes into the mikvah, no questions asked, you just toivel. They dance in the vineyards, literally dance. Tana, if you don't have a wife, you go over there. By the way, there's a big zgula today. If you don't have a wife, you go ta'amuka. And they say that ever since they put the mechitza in the bus, that zgula doesn't work so well anymore. The beautiful ones would say, look at me. And if you had yichos, for me, I was looking for a good pshat here. I didn't have a really good pshat in the sugya. How does it work exactly? Did they really say it? Not. But I saw one, I didn't see this inside. To me, it made sense that no matter what you see, you should always look for the positives. Everybody has a maila. And look for the positives. This one has that, this one has this. If they have yichos, to come from a good family, say, look, marry me, you'll have good yichos. A woman is for children. The ugly ones, what do they say? Literally, mukhar is ugly. I saw that in the time of, there's no such thing as a Jewish girl that's ugly, but it just means out of poverty, they're not put together, and that makes them mukhares, and that might explain right what's going on here in the next line. Take your mekach, your mekach, how do you say mekach? Your purchase, whatever it is. Not the what? Acquisition. Very good. That's a good word. Acquisition. L'shum shomayim. Do it for Hashem. Ubevad shitatrunu bezehuvim. Listen to the chutzpah. Marry me. I'm very ugly. Please marry me. But by the way, give me a lot of gold. You have to give me a lot of jewelry. What is going on here? So first of all, according to that pshat, that they're not really ugly, just they don't come across very put together. So give them a little jewelry and they'll be put together like the rich ones. But Rabbi Yechiel Galinsky says, this girl is davening so hard for a shidduch. She knows she doesn't have everything going for her and she needs a lot of siyat d'shmaya. Once she's davening for siyat d'shmaya, it's all in the Yad Hashem. You know what? Give me a guy that has a lot of money also. Have a wonderful day, guys. Shkaya for joining. We'll see you tonight. We'll finish up the Masechta. What time is it tonight? I don't know, but look at mdy.com, mdycum.com. 7:30 Siyum. Myriv.